There was a moment late in Randy Meisner's life when the quietest man in the Eagles finally allowed himself to speak. His voice was softer than it had been in the 1970s, worn down by illness, loss, and decades of silence. But the pain behind it was unmistakable. Randy wasn't angry, and he wasn't seeking revenge. He was simply telling the truth about what it cost him to be part of one of the biggest rock bands in the world. And for the first time, he admitted that the story people thought they knew was only half of what really happened. The man who never wanted the spotlight. Before the conflicts, before the shouting matches, before the night in Knoxville that ended everything, Randy Meisner had been the heart of the Eagles. Born on March 8, 1946, in Scottsbluff, Nebraska, he grew up shy, humble, and deeply uncomfortable with attention. Music was the one place where he could express himself without being exposed. Even as a teenager playing in local bands, he preferred blending into the sound rather than standing out front. After moving to Los Angeles in the early 1960s, he quickly learned how unforgiving the music industry could be. He bounced between bands, joining Poco in 1968 and later Rick Nelson's Stone Canyon Band. Everything changed in 1971 when Linda Ronstadt brought together four musicians: Don Henley, Glenn Frey, Bernie Leadon, and Randy Meisner. Randy immediately sensed something special. He later said he knew from the beginning that the band would make it. As the Eagles rose to fame with albums like Desperado and One of These Nights, Randy remained the quiet anchor of the group. While Henley and Frey grew into dominant frontmen, Randy stayed in the background, shaping the band's sound through harmonies, arrangements, and bass lines. But success brought pressure. Pressure turned into tension, and tension slowly became resentment. For a man who never wanted fame, the band that once felt like family began to feel suffocating. The rise of pressure and the song that broke him. By the mid-1970s, the Eagles had become the biggest American band of the decade. Their schedule was relentless. Months on the road, endless interviews, constant rehearsals, and nonstop pressure to produce hits. Randy, already struggling with anxiety, became overwhelmed. Then came Take It to the Limit. Released in 1975, the song became Randy's defining moment, a soaring ballad that pushed his vocal range to its limits. Fans loved it, but behind the scenes, the song became a burden. Henley and Frey insisted Randy sing it every night as the encore. Night after night, he was forced to hit the same punishing high notes, even as his health declined. During the Hotel California tour, Randy developed severe stomach ulcers. He was physically and emotionally exhausted. When he tried to voice his concerns, Glenn Frey showed little sympathy. Randy later said, "All I want is 5 guys happy playing together." But behind the scenes, he felt ignored and disposable. Henley dismissed his health issues as excuses, even accusing him of partying too hard. What Randy experienced as genuine pain was treated as weakness. The cracks inside the Eagles widened, and Randy stood directly in the middle of the fracture. Knoxville, 1977, the breaking point. Everything collapsed during a humid night in Knoxville, Tennessee. Randy had been battling ulcers, exhaustion, and a flu. After multiple encores, Glenn Frey demanded one more performance of Take It to the Limit. Randy refused, saying he physically couldn't sing. What Randy hoped would be understood as exhaustion was met with anger. Frey exploded. Henley sided with him. The argument escalated into a physical confrontation. In a moment completely out of character, Randy swung first. From that night forward, he was no longer treated as part of the band. Things started ending when we began taking separate limos, Randy later said. He felt isolated and pushed aside. By the final concert of the tour, in September 1977, he knew he was done. Whether he quit or was pushed remains debated, but Randy Meisner walked away from the Eagles, and from a life he described as lived at twice the normal speed. His departure quietly marked the end of the band's golden era. Life after the Eagles. Returning to Nebraska, Randy finally felt peace. But that peace came at a cost. He walked away from immense fame and fortune. "I could have tripled my money," he once said, "but I chose sanity." He continued making music, but never chased stardom again. He remarried, raised children, and sought stability rather than success. Still, old wounds resurfaced whenever the Eagles reunited. He wasn't invited to the 1994 Hell Freezes Over tour. Though he briefly joined the band for their Rock and Roll Hall of Fame induction in 1998, the connection never truly returned. As the Eagles toured the world, Randy's health declined. By the 2010s, he was suffering from chronic obstructive pulmonary disease. When invited to join the band's 2013 tour, he was physically unable to accept the tragedies of his final years. Randy endured deep personal loss. After divorcing his first wife, he later married Lana Ray. In 2016, tragedy struck when Lana died in an accidental shooting at their home. Though Randy was cleared of wrongdoing, the emotional impact was devastating, and his health deteriorated rapidly. Once known for his powerful high notes, Randy could barely breathe, let alone sing. Yet he never became bitter. He spoke of the Eagles' music with pride, saying the songs still held up. When Glenn Frey died in 2016, Randy responded with sadness, not resentment. His final truth. In his last years, Randy spoke honestly, but gently, about the band that made him famous and broke him. He believed he had been mistreated and overlooked. He remembered Knoxville vividly, but he told his story with sorrow, not anger. He had always wanted 5 men happy playing together. Success had taken that away. On July 26, 2023, Randy Meisner died at age 77 from complications of COPD. The Eagles issued a brief tribute, but many fans felt it wasn't enough. Randy Meisner was the gentle soul of the Eagles, the voice that carried their most emotional moments. Yet even in the biggest band in America, he often felt alone. His story reminds us that behind platinum albums and sold-out arenas, there could be someone quietly carrying pain no one ever sees. His voice shaped the Eagles, but his heart spent years feeling pushed aside. Now that he's gone, his truth carries more weight than ever. What part of Randy Meisner's story surprised you the most?